definitely think that it's definitely like due to, oh wait, why did it just go live?
I think it just went live. Yeah, it was a minute off.
Okay, hi.
Oh my god. Hi everyone. We've been talking for a minute already. So
yeah, we just didn't realize it. Okay, that's nice. On me.
It's a mess.
Okay, well, because we missed already minute, we're discussing Beach Read today. Probably be spoilers if you haven't read the book.
Yeah,
Okay.
leave now quickly because
read it because it's good.
Read it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
What did everyone rate it?
5 stars.
I gave it 5 stars.
Oh, 5 stars. I put it onto my all-time favorites shelf, and like I wrote a very heartfelt review. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this was
good. Mm-hmm. And we were just and we were just discussing like the characters' chemistry and their banter and how it was like very natural as compared to other like rom-com kind of books.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was the banter. I was saying I sometimes cringe at rom-com banter, or I find it like unrealistic, like the way they talk. It's kind of weird, but this felt so. Like, I actually found their banter to be quite funny. And yeah, no, I loved it.
Yeah, I think
that's what we were saying.
Yeah, it might have something to do with like they already knew each other before this book. I mean, before like the book started. I liked that they had sort of like a history. I don't know. It gave them like more of something to fall back on when it felt like the situations were like unrealistic. Like, oh, but they already knew each other in some capacity.
Yeah.
So
the second they like. She saw him when she was moving in, and he was like the grumpy neighbor. But she had previously already talked about this Gus guy and how he was her rival. I was like, that's gonna be him. He's the guy that just is living over there, and she has no idea.
None. Yeah, that part was like, that's gonna happen. But I thought this book was gonna be like his point of view also. I guess I thought like it was like a duel, but it didn't end up doing that, which I don't mind. But like from like the back of the book, it definitely made me think it was going to be like alternating chapters of them.
Yeah, I expected that too. I don't know, like with dual perspectives, sometimes it's a hit or miss for me. Like sometimes I don't like it, but sometimes I do. I don't know. I didn't mind it, but I had the idea that it was going to be dual perspective too. I totally thought it was going to be that way, and then it wasn't, and I actually kind of liked it.
I did. Yeah, me too. She was a good narrator, especially like all of her stuff going on.
I found it all way too relatable. Like, relating too much. Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess like I didn't realize like how deep it was gonna get. Like from the back, it sort of just seems like a fluffy kind of like romance, but then like it gets deep. It gets like into some hard stuff that wasn't really like expressed when you read like the synopsis.
Yeah. Right. I think that's one of my favorite parts about this book, and why I liked it so much, and it's like one of my all-time favorites now, is because like, was there a knock? I just like brought me off.
No, it's not here.
Okay, no, I've read rom-coms in the past too, where there have been like overarching messages, like bigger than just the love story itself. Like they're like, I'm not saying like other romances don't do that, but for some reason this one like really stuck out to me, and I felt like it was done so well. But at the same time, it didn't like overpower the romance or the love story. Like I just felt like it was melded together so well. And like I said, I found this way too relatable. Like, I don't know, I just really like connected with it. And I think they were messages like I needed to hear now in my life, like current life phase. And I loved that it was unexpected. Yeah, I was not expecting like the very serious undertones and like grieving and like the whole cheating scandal. Like, but I loved it. Like, I thought I was really impressed, I have to say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like it was very well balanced between like the hard things and the fun things and the romance, and it flowed so well. There was never a point where I was bored or where I was like, okay, like let's get past this, let's move on to something else. Like it was very well laid out.
Right.
Very.
I have to say, or go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say anything. I was just like agreeing.
Yeah, I feel like the chemistry between the characters was so great, because when you think about it, there wasn't a lot that happened in the book, right? Like there weren't these like huge location changes or massive plot twists. Like it was pretty contained in one area, and like they didn't travel very far. There wasn't a whole lot happening, and it was just like, I think the characters were done so well and their chemistry was so great that you didn't need this like really crazy plot with all these twists and turns. And you know, that was really interesting, because usually I get bored when there's not like anything crazy going on.
Yeah. Like I think with like a lot of rom-coms, like authors feel the need to create all these crazy situations that are kind of unrealistic, and I think that's what draws a lot of readers away from it. But here, like, because the plot was so simple, it's just two writers trying to get over their writing block, it was like very, I guess, more relatable. Like, as you said, like, it's just very, like, it's kind of situation you could actually find yourself in if you find yourself living next door to your arch rival who's an author.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, very realistic. There was one scene where they're in the water and he says, "I love you." And then there's like trash floating by in the lake. And I was like, I was like, that's so realistic though. Like, I think there were great moments in the book where it was like a rom-com, like where it's like, oh, they run into the water and they're like making out in the water and stuff. But it's like also realistic because there's also garbage, because it's like a vacation lake. Like, you know,
there's some dirt in the house.
I really liked that.
Yeah.
Like I really
it was more like
that.
real life rather than just fairy tale fantasized like love. Yeah. I liked at the carnival where there was like the guy that had to go to the bathroom, and then his friends, the couple, was like making out in front of the porta potty so he couldn't get in. Like that was, I was like, that happens. Like this is it's real life. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's like crying on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was thinking she's crying on the beach and the bird poops on her head right when he walks up, and like she turns around and it's like a bird just like on her head. Like, you know, I like that.
With all their little like field trips they went on, like I thought it was just so funny. Like she brought him to like what she figured was like classic like romance, like women's fiction stuff, and then he brought her to like cult interviews.
Yeah,
Kelly was like, that was like the big like action filled like moments, like reading about it. Like I wasn't expecting it to get that dark, and I was like, oh my god, this is serious stuff.
But like on the real, I like found the cult parts like really interesting. Like I was like,
so did I.
I want a whole book on that. I want to read his book on that.
I
wanted more about it too. I was like, wait, I want to know more about this. Like
what happened?
What happened? Like, because they went to the where the compound or whatever that they had for this cult, and they were exploring the leader's house and all that stuff, and I was like, wait, but I want to know more. Like, tell me about it.
Give me the book.
That was like really cool. Yeah, no, that was very unexpected, but it was actually pretty cool. So yeah.
Well, did you guys like get like emotional at any parts? Because like I know I personally cried when she was reading the letters from her father. He was sort of like explaining to her like that like he'll always be her dad, but like he's made mistakes. Like I got so teary.
Yeah, no, that was I think that was the biggest part that I was just like, oh my gosh, like
I finished it this morning, and it was like 6 a.m. when I finished this, and it was that chapter. And I was like crying at 6 a.m, and I was like, great start to the day. Like it was so, I mean, I don't know. I just so felt that. And I think a lot of it had to do with like the writing. I thought this writing, for me personally, like I feel like her descriptions of like emotions and memories and locations were just so like pretty and beautiful, like very vibrant. Like for some reason it just like smacked me in the face, and like I was just like sobbing at 6 a.m. Like I felt that, you know, like it was awesome. Like I
get that.
No, I agree. I think she did a fabulous job with all of her descriptions, and like even just the perspective of January and the way she described the world around her and the way she saw it. Like you could tell that the way she saw the world was from her personality. It wasn't just a description of the world, which I thought was really cool.
It was like interesting because you're seeing the world's perspective, especially from a person who's just like sort of lost hope in it. Like her like life that she thought believed in happy endings sort of just came crumbling down around her. And now we get the perspective of someone who like doesn't really believe in like that kind of like happy ending anymore.
Yeah.
So
no, I love the premise. No, I love that she was a romance writer who had like a heartbreaking story. Like I just thought that was so clever that like part of her profession and what she does like is the root of her issue. Like I I was so impressed. I was like, wow, like how it all tied in. Like, you can tell. I love this book. You can tell.
I know. I just like there's like so many like good lessons from it. I like how like at the end they were like, it's not a happily ever after, it's a happily for now. And I'm like, oof, you got me there.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yes.
Oh, it was
or
good.
that like happily, or no, go ahead, Sadie. I keep talking over everybody.
No, you go.
You're good.
Or I just liked at the end how it was like when there's a happily ever after at the end, it's like this new start, or like it's like now life begins, that we've reached our happily ever after. Now it's all happy from here. And I like that the message of the book is that like your happily ever after is from the get-go. Like this is all your happily ever after, this whole lifetime, right? And there's ups and downs, but there's no like, it's like that quote where it's like, it's the journey, not the destination, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, that was like such a great way to end the book, because that's true. And I think that's something that I personally need to hear right now. And so I just really connected with that.
Yeah. This was definitely a good book to read right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just, I liked that. That was awesome.
From like a writing perspective, Sadie, like what did you think of like reading about authors like in the book, since you're like writing the book?
Oh, I loved it. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to read it in the first place, because I was like, ooh, a writing competition, yes. But I just like loved how they were both like, how hard it was to even just put words to paper sometimes, even though they've been doing this for years as a profession. And then and her agent kept calling her like, where's the book? Can you give it to me? And then it was just interesting to see them switch genres, but then they still kind of kept to their own genre while doing that. And in a lot of my writing classes and from my professors, they've all talked about how you need to write out of your comfort zone. And I think that's exactly what they did. And it helped them get farther and to get those words on paper, because sometimes you do get in that comfy spot. So I just thought it was just so cool to see that like, oh, what my professors were saying was right. Like when you're stuck, write something different and it'll just flow out, and it'll still be the same type of thing that you know and love. You just have to write what you love, which I thought was, and I think Gus said something about that, like you need to stop talking or trying to write a book that you think everyone wants to read and write the book you want to write. And that is like, it's so hard to write when you're trying to make it what you think everyone else wants, and instead of what you just want to write.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
I especially loved like when they were writing, they had like the Taylor Swift like like, the messages across their windows.
The second he like held up the paper
along with me in the background.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So funny. And then that's how he proposed too. With the paper. And I was like, it's like the prom scene in the musical. Or in the music video when he like pulls it out and it's like, I love you. And I was like, yes.
I loved that. They're just like the messages back and forth were just chef's kiss.
It was so funny.
The existential where he was like, look into the abyss, like look into the darkness. He would like hold up these like existential like yes. Like, I love
that. I'm trying to find like an example of like what they would write. It was
so funny.
It was good.
Oh my God.
Wow. Life is meaningless January. This Taylor Swift video. Yeah.
It's like the universe seems neither benign nor hostile, merely indifferent.
It's like the most existential things.
I loved it. Was so funny. The second he like held up the first paper though, before she even was like, this is Taylor Swift, I was like, it's Taylor Swift. I was freaking out.
Oh my God. Her new album has become like the soundtrack whenever I read right now. Like I keep listening to Lover when I read. I don't know why. It's been like my background music recently.
See, I can't listen to music while I read. It's too distracting for me. Because I'll just sing along instead of reading.
Right. It has to be like instrumental for me. And it usually is like when I'm reading fantasy. Like it needs to be like I can do it with fantasy. It's weird. I don't know.
It's like you need like a fantastical soundtrack to go along with your epic adventure.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Back to the book, I guess. I'm looking at the notes.
Oh, let's talk about Pete for a second. I loved Pete. She's one of my favorite characters. I love that she owned like a coffee store type thing with her book. And like she didn't know the names of the coffee. Like she was like, do you want a pink eye instead of a red eye? It was so funny.
It was.
And she kept trying to like set Gus and January up at the beginning. And
she was good comedic relief. I think she like hearing of like she had a lot of substance to her. I liked her a lot. I want a book about her and her wife.
Oh my god, yes.
How they met.
Yes. I was
studying rocks.
Oh, I was yes, because I think about that with like it's like kind of a trend with romance authors right now where they'll write a series and they just build off of one character in the next story. So I was thinking about that. I was like, I wonder if Emily Henry's going to write another book building off of someone, and I could see a Pete like and Maggie like prologue kind of story. Or I was like, the best friend, what Shadi? Yeah, I was like, or Shadi. I was like, or her.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like it depends. Like I often like when they do that because like I usually like the first book and then I want to read more about the other characters, but sometimes I don't like it. It really depends.
Yeah, the first time I saw that was with Helen Huang when she did the Kiss Quotient and then the Bride Test, and I was so into. I love that. Yeah, because I love all her
excited
characters.
for the third one.
For the Heart Principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so excited.
Love those books.
I need to read them.
So.
Oh my god, if you like this, you'll like those.
Okay, I gotta read them.
No, you will.
It's like the similar kind of like romance, but with like a deeper level.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd be interested if she makes another book off of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about like dad and all that grieving stuff and like?
Oh my gosh.
Get deep. Because I think that was like pretty big driving factor with like her seeing like the woman that like the other woman in the book club when she went the first time. I just think it was like
that was
I didn't really see coming when I first picked up this book.
Totally. I feel like I still don't have full closure about her dad. But I guess that's the point, right? Like they're like people aren't math equations. Like it's not black or white. Like people are very gray. But yeah, that was a lot. That was hard, even as a reader, to try and decide like what my opinion was of him.
Yeah,
because I was totally on January's side where I was just like, I totally felt for her, and I was definitely angry with him too. And I didn't like Sonia either. But I also understand what the greater message is, that, you know, it's hard to be black and white, yes or no. But I feel like I still haven't even reached closure yet. You know, it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. Just like it's kind of open-ended because that's how it's going to be kind of for like the rest of her life, because she doesn't get the chance to like yell at her dad, to like she doesn't get a chance to question him like face to face. So it's always going to sort of be like a question mark.
Yeah. So I guess in a way, and I was just gonna say, in a way, the author I think succeeded at like making you feel that way. Yeah.
For sure. And I think that's like how it would go in real life too. It's like you read all the letters and you're angry still, but you don't like, you still want that to like talk to him, but you can't. Like that would totally be so hard, and you wouldn't get the closure even with the letters.
Yeah. I think it's important that she like texted her mom at the end saying like, what was it? It was like, I'm here for you or something. I forget what it was, but like I do like at the end that she like was fine. Like we can't not talk about these things. We have to like discuss what happened.
Yeah. Oh my god, I feel for her mom. I was just like, dang.
Yeah. That was like tragedy with her, because first she had like the cancer, and then it was just
that.
Yep. And then he died. So
yeah, gosh. Yeah, I don't know. That was hard. And I just think that that's part of what makes a book so great, is that like you like can't get over it. Like it just kind of is, and you have to just move on.
Yeah.
I hate it.
No,
like, I love a closure, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to live with this one.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was hard.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was trying to see things from like Sonia's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was trying really hard. I don't know. Because I think in a way it was supposed to be kind of like a mirroring, right? Like that January was now in Sonia's position, right? She was now the other woman.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was clearly done on purpose. And so that was really interesting too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially
supposed to kind
of Sonia, knowing that she and her dad like knew that each other before.
Yeah, and it was at this location here, and they both had known each other from school and like in the past. And he's having marital issues. Gus was having marital issues, and now she's playing the role of Sonia, the very woman that she can't stand.
Yeah,
like that was well done.
I know.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's very great. It's just very great. Yeah.
It was. I did understand like why she had that big of a reaction when he went to go talk to his wife. Like I didn't like maybe I just didn't like read it as well, but like she got like really upset like when he left with his like wife to talk. Like I thought, I don't know, I was like confused why she had that big of a reaction and like thought that he was gonna like leave. And maybe it was like stemming from like past issues, obviously. But I was like, that was like a really big reaction for him just going to like talk to his like almost divorced wife for a second about like their divorce.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was.
I do feel that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was very much just the fear from watching her parents and like, oh, he's gonna go back to her because her dad kept going back to her mom. Yeah. Even after Sonia. So it was like maybe in her head Gus is gonna go back to Naomi and then when he said like I could see myself being back with her, and then she was like,
that was the wrong thing to say from him.
Freaking out but he came back with, but I want you, like you're the one I want. And so but yeah, I could see how like just in those flash moments you get those instant reactions of oh no, he's not gonna want me anymore. Because I know that like I've done that before with guys. I'm like, oh, they don't like me anymore. What am I gonna do? It's just all in my head.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a very human reaction. I think anybody would feel that way. Yeah, because you're like the outsider at the end of the day because they're married. You know, they have a history that you just weren't present for. So like, no doubt you're gonna get scared in a situation like that.
Yep. I know. One of the parts that like I kept coming back to because it was so freaking funny is January's best friend, who she like emails and like talking about like the freaking sex dungeon in the basement and all of that stuff. Like I freaking loved her. I like lived for like the time that she would like email January about like the guy she was seeing. What's his name? Like the hat guy.
Oh, Haunted Hat.
Haunted Hat. I was. Yeah. Then I was like thinking like, ooh, what nicknames can I give guys from my past?
Yeah, right. No.
Oh, I've got some good nicknames for guys.
Oh, you do?
Oh yeah. I have a couple.
I definitely did that growing up. My friends and I feel like all girls have like some form of a time in their lives where we'd have code names for guys.
No, my family still refers, like, this is like my college boyfriends. Like, they all have pretty great nicknames, and my family still refers to them by those names, never their first name when we talk about them.
Aww.
Like, one of them, I'll tell you a couple of them. We had my sister dubbed one of them Fairy Boy. And then there was also Mermaid Man, and then there was also Gorilla Boy. So.
Oh my god! Now I really need I'm like this time I want to get behind those nicknames.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to privately email me photos.
Yeah, I get little paragraphs for each one.
Yeah. We'll chat. I'll write a book about it.
There you go. That's so fun. Do it.
Yeah, no, I loved the nicknames that Shadi gave. It was so funny.
Ooh,
yeah, no, they had a great friendship, and that's what I'm saying. If there was a second book, I think she could be a really great like main character because clearly she has like some drama going on in her love life. So there's something to capitalize on.
Yeah, and then like throughout the book, she was like, "Oh, I'm so in love with Haunted Hat guy," and then the epilogue, there's a new guy, and I was like,
I know.
I was like, all right, then.
Like,
all that emotion together just for this. Yeah. I guess also like for a book titled Beach Read, I thought they would be at the beach more.
Yeah. I agree with that.
An actual beach on the lake, but like that's just me. I was like, oh, they're gonna be like on the actual ocean, but they were on a lake, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, because when you think about it, there was no beach at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that's what confused me. I was like, it's not really a. So why isn't this called like lake house, lake beach,
like
Lake beach,
Lake
house?
That's actually really true, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, and I was like, wait, like even just from the cover, I thought they would like at least lay on the beach and read and write together, but they
never did.
No.
Yeah, they never actually like
two different vibes.
Yeah.
They actually really did, because Gus hates going down to the lake and sitting on the like shore.
Yeah.
They did like a couple times, but never like this. So
yeah,
this
never happened. And like the book, this makes like a book seem like really fun and like light, and then you get into
it, and you're like, whoa,
dead, and it's like,
dead, cold, cheating. Cold.
One does not relate to the other.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I definitely think that like it was different vibes.
Like she's never in a swimsuit on the beach. Like
I think
she wears like that one like hand-me-down swimsuit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Do the back of your books like have like discussion questions in them?
Oh no.
My book has like discussion questions, like reader's guide. I was like,
what's the
before I
discussion?
came here. Discussion questions.
Yeah, let's answer. Like we're in an English class. What are some of the discussion questions?
You ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, here's a good one. If you could visit one setting from the book with one of the characters, whom and where would you pick?
Oh,
like pull it out.
I'd want to go to the carnival with Gus just to like bug him and see his like grumpiness there. And I'd be like January and be like, choose a ride. We're going on a ride.
Backstory for like the Ferris, the
carousel,
the carousel operator.
Yeah,
there's backstory they created. I loved it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you?
I would probably choose like Pete's house, because apparently the garden was like really like beautiful. I would love to go to like the 4th of July pool party. Like
that would be fun.
I'm sorry for like parties.
And
social interaction, but I remember reading that and I was like, damn, I want to go to 4th of July live pool party. Like that sounds awesome. So that's probably what I'd pick.
I would pick like Pete's with Gus, so just so that I could bring up rocks around Maggie and annoy him.
Yes. Or it'd be fun to go to the spy book club.
Ooh,
that would be fun too.
When they walk in there with the books like they were going to be talking about.
It was so funny. What was it? The red, white, Russian, and blue book club. That's what it was.
Yes.
I love that.
I thought that was hilarious. Oh my god!
When they're thinking like this is gonna be about me, that's why they invited me. This is about freaking spies.
And she packed like all of her bookmarks and stuff. Can you imagine if she like actually set out her bookmarks and everything, and then like. God. Not about you at all. So
that was so funny.
Yeah. It was just there's just so many good like funny moments in here, just like little ones like just sprinkled throughout that were just like iconic. Ugh.
Yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean joke was great. That one was well done.
I love that.
I love Pirates.
I loved how that was like running through the entire novel. I don't know how many times they brought up pirates. We should have counted, but that was a lot.
Pirate count.
Yeah, pirate count. I also loved when they were making out at the drive-in movie theater, and then the old lady like comes with the flashlight.
Oh
she's like,
my god!
You're hot.
That was golden.
That's what I'm saying. Like this book was spicy sometimes. Like it was spicy, and there was definitely like rom-com moments. but it was also realistic, right? Because I have totally been in that situation myself where like a security guard like flashes and you're so mortifying. Like I've been there. So like that was very realistic. And I was like so embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's the worst feeling in the world. So.
Thank
you. I was in high school. I cried. I was so upset. Yeah.
Oh,
That's okay. I've been there too, Delancey, so I feel
Okay, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Yeah. It's not fun.
No.
I was in a movie theater for it.
A movie theater? Okay.
Movie theater, and the guy flashed, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
leave now."
I was like, I promise I'm a good noodle. Like, this isn't who I am.
that's awesome.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, those were good, and I liked it because like it fit in so well because like she was teaching him how to like write like women's fiction, and like those bizarre situations are women's fiction.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like real life too. So it was.
It works out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm trying to find more funny moments. Oh, the fact that they
dancing.
Yes, that was great. Yes, yeah, because I've totally done that before, like country bars, and like you have no idea what's going on.
That was
Yeah, I've been there too, and I was like,
God.
I don't know these dances.
Just like the grapevine back and forth and hope you'll catch on.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, the fact that they went to the Olive Garden, I was like, if this is not more realistic, I love that they went to the Olive Garden, like, and they're holding hands for the first time at the Olive Garden. Like, I love that.
That's iconic.
So real, iconic. Yeah,
It was so funny.
Yeah, I love that.
I love the Olive Garden.
Yeah.
What's needed? Let's see what other questions we got here. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here you go. Oh, this one's good. If January and Gus got a sequel, what would it be about, and what do you think comes like next for them? If they got like a sequel.
Dang.
I think they would write a book together.
Ooh, and like
they were married,
and
we could like see them like arguing over how a scene should go because Gus would want it to be like sad, and January would be like, "No, this is supposed to be romantic," and then they would have. I think that would be so funny.
That would be really funny.
Yeah,
I would love
like
that.
Clashing, and they're either like newlyweds or they're on their honeymoon or something like that, and then freaking Jacques shows up and like causes some tension for like a few chapters, and then like it's like a return to the exes, and then Naomi comes back around for another few chapters. Like it'd be like that, and they're either
pop up for a bit.
They're like on a cruise ship, and they're stuck on it with these.
Yes,
they're trapped on the boat with their exes.
Yes, they're on a cruise ship. They're going on their honeymoon, but they have a deadline for this joint book they're supposed to do, so they got to get it done together.
Yeah.
But then their exes are both on this cruise line ship with them. Great.
Yeah,
Good deal. Great job, you guys.
Let's do it
ourselves. Like,
let's call Emily Henry and tell her. Yeah.
Yeah.
We read it ourselves.
I actually love that. That would be really great.
We just figured out the whole plot for her.
Yeah, for free. There you go, Emily Henry. Yeah.
Yep. What are your guys' like beach reads?
Oh, favorite beach reads?
Even though it has nothing to do with the book.
Because it's on a lake.
And there's no reading on a beach.
But there are seagulls that poop on
there are seagulls, yes.
Yeah, that's very beachy.
Yeah.
They always steal my food when I go. Personal vendetta against seagulls.
Yeah.
I'm like staring at my bookshelf trying to decide.
I know. I gotta like turn around.
Yeah.
And see.
So
I don't know.
I feel like I think I would stick with like rom-coms. I do like that. So
yeah.
I definitely tend to read in the summer.
Oh yeah, me too. Like contemporaries, rom-coms are like a summer vibe for sure.
Yeah, same.
I definitely am like
it's either
that way.
A seasonal, did you say?
like I'm not a seasonal reader in like most aspects, but I tend to read like a lot more contemporary romance, adult romances, like in the warmer weather.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Let's see.
I feel like, yeah, it's either rom-coms or a lot of people, I haven't really done this myself, but I know a lot of people like to read thrillers on the beach too. Like that's a thing. Like they like, yeah, like beach reads are also like thriller mystery stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick one, I would probably say like anything by Helen Huang though, because I really like her for romance. So probably something by her.
I'm like, I just read Red, White, and Royal Blue like 2 days ago, and I can already like see myself bringing that everywhere with me to read because I was in love with it.
I heard that's so good. Yeah, I heard it's so great.
I don't know why I waited so long because I read it in like 2 days and I'm fully obsessed now. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, I got like a crash course in the fandom like over like an hour. Like it was so like I just spent the hour after I finished it looking at fan art and stuff and things.
Oh my god, yeah.
I do whenever I finish a book. I just look up fan art.
Oh my gosh, I do the same thing. I'm like on Pinterest and I'm immediately like someone like whatever couple it is, fan art.
We're all on board. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I finished Queen of Nothing, I looked up like the Cruel Prince fan art and I was like, wow, I missed the boat on timing because I feel like this would have been epic if I had read it like when everyone else did. I love the fan art for that.
They're coming out with like a Carden book, aren't they? She's coming out with the Carden book.
Yeah. It's like short stories about him.
Short stories about his childhood.
About his childhood, yeah.
It's like how those books.
It's like how the King of Elfheim learned to hate, I think. Is what it's called.
Okay, yeah.
So like short stories, but I'm excited. He'll be
yeah, that
would be fun.
That sounds awesome.
But yeah, so many books I need to read. So many books. Hopefully over like the reading rush, those will get done.
Yes.
So it's a month of reading.
Yeah, just put it all on the reading rush.
Well, like let's talk about like the other books we read like over the beach readathon. What were like your guys' favorites that you ended up reading?
Ooh. I was like, well, I read one book, so I actually loved it. So it's all right.
What book was it?
Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka.
Oh yeah, and I'm so excited about that one.
Yeah, it's like 100-something pages. It's pretty short, but it is the wackiest, quirkiest, weirdest thing I've ever read. And I feel like you could write an AP English paper on it because there's so much weird stuff going on. Like, it's this woman who basically, she's kind of like a social outcast in her family, but also within like Japanese society as a whole. And so she works at this convenience store for like 18 years. And she literally considers herself like part of the convenience store. Like the way she talks in her head, like everything she does is so she can be a better worker in the convenience store. Like her life's purpose is the store. Yeah. And everyone is like, you need to get married. You need to move on. You need to do something else. And so there's like this creepy guy that starts working at the convenience store who's like looking for a wife. He's like a weirdo, but she's like, okay, maybe I'll just like pretend married. Like I'll marry this guy and like pretend like we're in a relationship so that people accept me. And that's pretty much the story goes from there. And it's so weird. Like it's really weird, but I really liked it. And I feel like you could write a paper about it because there's just like a lot you could discuss. So that was my experience. It was great.
Ooh,
great.
I want to read it now.
Good.
Yeah, it's really short, so you can finish it in one sitting, honestly.
There you go.
But yeah. What about you guys?
Okay. I think the two that I liked the most out of the ones that I read, besides Beach Read, I think Beach Read was my favorite one of all of them that I read. I read Wayward Son finally, the sequel to Carry On, and I loved it. It was so funny. The end was really rushed. That was the only thing I didn't like about it. But it was like them in America for the first time. And so it was like all these jokes about how America is so different from England. And then they like tried to drive from Chicago to California because they were like, oh, it's like Europe. The states will be right next to each other. It'll take a couple hours tops. So it's like, no, that drive would take a couple of days. But it was super funny. And then I also loved Insta Travel. which is like its style, but it's by someone else, by Aggie Lau, and she just like talks about all the different places that she's traveled, and whether it was by herself and her favorite places and locations to go. And it was just, I discovered many new places that I want to go travel now. And I thought that those were probably my 2 favorites.
That's always good. That's always nice. Besides Beach Read, my 2 favorites probably were Red, White, and Royal Blue. And then because just like that was so funny, so crazy, and just like definitely what I needed, like alternate history, like alternate 2016 election. It was good. But then I also really liked the manga that I read, My Hero Academia. It was like the first manga I've picked up ever.
Oh, really?
And I really liked it. And I just got the 2nd volume, and I'm so excited to start it. But yeah, I really loved that.
Cool.
It was cute.
Yeah, the show. Yeah, I heard. Maybe you should watch the show, because I think there's a show on Netflix.
Ooh. There is, because I've watched the show and I really like the show, but I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, it was a really good. It took me a while to like get into the format, because like I wasn't used to like turning the pages the other way.
Yeah,
but once I got it, but yeah, so
totally.
I got this show because like it's so cool. It's like Superhero Academy, and it was just like fun. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oof, yes. But yeah. Any last things to like add?
Yeah, we're coming up on. We're doing good. Is there any more discussion questions from the book? These are interesting.
I know, they are kind of fun.
I know, it's nice when someone writes them for you, huh?
I know.
Okay. Ooh, did January's father deserve her forgiveness? Which we touched upon a little bit earlier. It's like, has she truly forgiven him? And like, we touched a little bit on that earlier.
Yeah. So
I think my perspective after reading the letters, but it's hard to forgive someone when they're not there to forgive, I think.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think it was hard to even judge without being in that exact position.
Right. I think you can love someone, but you can also not love what they do, and like that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we don't. I don't know. Yeah, we love him, but we don't love what he did. I would leave it at that.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of the questions like just basically touched on what we've already talked about. So good job, us.
We're awesome. We're good.
We are.
Basically, this book was great. Great, like group book pick.
I loved
Even
it
though
so
there wasn't actually any beach involved, but like you know,
it had nothing to do with it, but it was good.
Yeah.
That completely blew my mind when I really thought about it. There's actually 0 beaches. So
they never actually read. They do a lot of writing. There's not any like
yeah, I mean, they talk about books and reading, but they don't do it.
Even the books they're writing
they also
have to do with like beaches, if you think about it. Like the books they're writing, so they're not even writing a beach read.
Yeah, like they never actually said beach read. Because usually when I'm reading a book, if they say the title, I'm like, oh, but they didn't actually, like, even she doesn't even consider what she writes. She never said like, oh, I write beach reads.
She doesn't even consider what she writes like Slick's Money Mermaids. Like she writes women's fiction.
Yeah. So it was still great though. Great group book pick. I had a fun time.
Happy that we had it.
Yes, we're gonna do more readathons in the future for the seasons.
Yes,
thinking in the fall.
More eventually.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we'll do like a spooky one in October or something.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Love it.
Spooky vibes.
Alrighty then.
All right. Well, I think we're good then.
So love chatting with you guys as always.
Yeah, this was so fun.
It was good to see you guys.
And thanks for joining the Beach Readathon.
Yes, everyone.
Yes.
Watched or participated. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was so fun to see everyone's stuff.
It was.
Yeah,
oh my God.
No.
Made my heart warm.
All right.
Okay.
So until our next readathon then.
Yes.
Yes.
Till the next one. All right, guys. Bye.
All right, guys.
On to the
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.